Alright, so, as you guys might have noticed, I'm a little behind on these videos. Combination of my classes got turbulent, maybe? And then, my computer crashed for an entire week, and I had to take it in and get fixed. So, there was just 1 week that I was behind because I was busy, and then my computer was gone, so I couldn't do anything for like 2 weeks. And then I was busy again this past weekend, so I'm now gonna put them all together. So I think there's 3 weeks worth of actual flip through to do for you guys, and I'm real sorry about that. I was trying to break these down into little nugget size things for you. Just a refresher for those of you who are new here or haven't seen the videos or haven't been harassed about them via my personal life. So the idea was I was going to work off of a prompt list, and I will show you guys that if I can get to it. So I was going to work off of these 2 prompt lists that I squished together, and I was going to roll dice to generate a random prompt every day. So I'm not going in order. I skipped around a whole bunch, and I would take one from here, put them together, and come up with something that had both of those prompts in it, and probably a witch. Supposedly a witch. Who knows? That one's questionable. I believe it is the 2nd of November as I'm finally sitting down to record this, but I am glad to say, as you can probably tell from how messy this page is, I actually got through the whole month. So I'm actually pretty proud. It's the first time I've actually done any kind of monthly prompt list challenge like Mermaid or Inktober or Witchtober or anything like that, and actually got through all of it without having to like catch up an entire week at a time. There were a couple of days where I had to do 2 because I fell behind, but I also made sure that I would at least put something on the page, but I could always come back and like flesh out the idea more if I had more inspiration or was having a better art day. So I think it's actually a pretty cool example of progression of thoughts and progression of practice over time, because you'll see some of my prompts at the beginning, it feels like I'm trying a lot harder, but my ideas aren't as good. And then as we get towards the end, and then I can show you guys what I have for the Witch Sona so far, but I'm not done playing with that one. So I'm pretty proud with how this is going. So I'm gonna find the paper clip that is the correct one, I believe. So this would have been week 3. I apologize if this part of the video is a little less coherent than usual, because I had thought I recorded this week and it was in my big squish them together video, and I did not record this week. I talk about it, but I don't actually show it to you guys. So this is like a month later I'm showing you, so I only kind of remember what I was thinking when I did this. I'm really sorry. So the first thing I got, it says, this is when I started writing the day of the week. Yeah, so this was the first day of the week, Monday, and I got fashion and crystals, which I think I started with this one, which was a stereotypical trendy witch, and she's got like a crystal necklace and all the fashion stuff. And then this one, I had found like a really cool crystal crown and wanted to kind of incorporate, like, it's hard to tell from the sketch, but she's got like little pauldrons and they're supposed to be like crystals hanging off of them and just bedazzled. And then for day 2, we had moon and mirror, which there's probably some kind of metaphor or symbolism there. My initial idea was to have a witch looking into a mirror and a reflection of the moon in that mirror, but then I didn't really know how to sketch that. Like, I can see it in my head, but I didn't know how to put it on this page. And then I had the idea of very Lord of the Rings like Galadriel, where it's water in a basin or something that is the mirror, and then the moon reflecting in on it, because then I could put the moon in the, yeah. And I was working on the character idea, and then I just decided to draw this character idea more fleshed out with like a moon and a mirror in her hand, which I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this. Like, I like this pose and I think it's interesting, but I don't think this really does justice to the prompt, if that makes sense. So then day, is that 14? Yeah, so day 14, because I can't count. I had bats and time, which I kind of interpreted as more of an hourglass. I'll be real with you, I don't know what this guy's doing. I don't know what this has to do with bats or time. This looks like he's looking at a mirror, but I just did mirror, so I don't know. I wonder if this was the one, I think this was the one where I first realized there were doubles of some of my prompts. I had tried really hard not to read through all the prompts in advance and build ideas before I did them, and didn't notice that mirror, I think, was in there twice, so I rolled it twice in a row and crossed it off and used time and hourglass instead. I got the idea from my boyfriend because I figured I wanted something similar in theme, but like not the same thing twice. Here's my horrible drawing of a bat. I haven't figured out how to draw them yet, despite how much I love them. And then I did kind of like this pose, where it's just a lady sitting on an hourglass, and then there's a bunch of bats floating around her. I don't think, again, like it technically ticks off the list of the prompt, but I feel like it's just all the things thrown together. I do like the idea of her and the bats around her though, but time is kind of so then sun and books kind of made me think of someone kind of relaxing in the grass, sitting kind of under a tree. I thought it would be really cool to have her sitting there and have like light filtering in from between the leaves if I could figure out how to actually paint that and pull that off. So sun was kind of a tricky one for me, unless you were just going to go with symbolic sun, which I guess I could have done, but when I did this I was just thinking of sunlight. So I do kind of like this idea with the pages kind of floating out of the book, and then I think I was going to have like light shooting out of the book like it is the sun, I guess. And then day 16 was dragon and horns. And I'm not sure how I managed to get so many of these prompts where they really just go hand in hand, because dragons have horns. Okay. So I tried to do kind of a cool dragon lady. I tried to scribble a dragon. And then I liked the idea of doing like this dragon bat wing looking neck corset thing. And then I thought, what if it's a witch lady who has a dragon instead of a witch lady who is a dragon? And I did a cute little doodle of that. And then the second to last day was balance and cat. And I'm still kind of surprised that this isn't my winner of the week, because I really like how this turned out. This has a very Sabrina High School-esque feel to it. And how I arrived at balance for this one was the idea of her balancing on a broomstick really weird. So she's like up above in the sky. She's flying around. She got her tiny little cat. I can't draw cats. Again, I'm really sorry. But like that she's just casually balancing. In my mind, this is like either going past some kind of huge skyscraper or like an airplane, and you just look out the window and she's like, what do you want? Which I think is funny. But I like this pose. I really like this outfit. It's, I don't know, I guess because it feels more like actual clothing. Like I had a more solid image of this in my head, so it was easier to draw. I just like the way this turned out. This is me attempting to draw a cat and failing again. But that's okay. He's kind of cool. He's weird. I don't know what his arms are doing, but he's a cat. He does what he wants. Okay, and then the last day I had for this week is the one that I did end up picking as my favorite that I'm going to turn into an illustration. I'll talk about that at the end of the video, but the prompt was space and jewelry. And the idea that I had here was that each piece of jewelry is actually a planet. So you've got like the inner planets, and one of the, it's like a big choker with Earth. And then I was going to do Uranus and Neptune, the two gassy planets over here. because I think the blue and the green will look pretty offsetting each other. Saturn, Jupiter, and then I was going to do the asteroid belt as like pearls or something. I thought that would be kind of cool. Yeah, so this one is more focused on this rather than the character. I mentioned that later that I'll probably do a better face. And then the hair I want to do is like a galaxy with watercolor. I think that could turn out real cool, but I might have to practice it a bunch because I don't know how to do that. So yeah, that is my week 3. And then so this would have been the start of week 3. I'm not good with numbers, y'all. So for this one, I got eyeball and broom, and I was playing around with the idea of making like a broom that's kind of like Soul Calibur, where it has an eyeball on it. And then I thought about the 3-eyed thing and the whole mystic stuff. And then I saw Saphira Lou where the prompt came from, and she had done like a Cyclops thing, so I doodled one, and she's really cute, but I didn't want to use her purely because Saphira did, which is dumb, but whatever, that's me. So I was trying to do more with this, but some sketches for that. And then the next day was paper and skull, and the initial idea was making a skull out of paper mache, which was a cute idea, but I was too lazy to draw that. I tried to draw a bat skull, and then this was another example where I had gone several days and then came back to this idea and added this piece, which is kind of like a Chinese, Eastern, Japanese-esque-ish. It's kind of a muddle of all of them. Kind of witch with like skulls in her hair and probably hanging off of her belt and stuff. And it's hard to tell from this horrible sketch, but there's like a scroll that's kind of floating around her, like a spell scroll that's floating, and I don't know. I had a cool idea there. And then 21 was supposed to be snow and harvest, which really broke my brain because if you're harvesting in the snow, all your stuff's probably dead. So I was looking up some things that grow in the winter, and witch hazel is actually grown in the winter, and I thought it was a little too good that it also had witch in the name. So it's impossible to tell from this, but it's supposed to be a couple of branches of witch hazel that she's holding up, because it's kind of, I was kind of surprised to find out that witch hazel, the plant, looks like some kind of really thin orange chrysanthemum almost, the way that the branches kind of, the petals kind of bloom out and around. I thought that was pretty cool. And then 22 was cave and mushroom, so being the drow obsessed person that I am, that was obviously a drow to me. So I kind of just drew my my character that my namesake used to be, because I've drawn her a million times, so she was just, this took like 5 seconds to do because like, oh, I know exactly what she looks like. So her in a cave, mushrooms, something or other. And then this one is one where I skipped around a bunch. So I started with this idea of like a pop idol, because this one the prompt was idol and owl. So I started with like this pop icon with like wing looking sleeve things. And then I'm like, wait, who has owls and is also very, very flashy? Ah, David Bowie. It could be like from the Labyrinth. That's fine. And then I drew that as an elf chick, and then I kind of drew it more like it's supposed to be. And then I came back days later and tried to develop more of the idol one because maybe this was a little weird. It was fun to do though. And then 24 was Saturday. So this was Necromancer and Candle, and I'm really disappointed with this one purely because it's such a good prompt combination. I could have done so many cool things with this, and I just was not feeling imaginative this day. I tried to make her dark and spooky by giving her dark tattoos and stuff and kind of spooky clothes. She's supposed to be in a room full of candles. And then I made a Dark Souls joke because my boyfriend was playing it, and then I put a candle on her head. Don't ask me to explain it. I don't know enough to really be able to. And then the last day for week 3 was Sunday. I had rain and crystal ball, and that was actually quite a challenge because how do you draw rain? Like, I can think of ways to show it with color, but in a sketch with one really cheap Bic ink pen, ball pen. Like, how do you show rain? So I was trying to show the dude with the crystal ball, and there was going to be rain in it, and then I put the dude in the crystal ball with the rain, and then I decided to draw the dude and decided he was going to be gray and gloomy McGloomerson, and it's not horrible. I like where this came, and this would make kind of a cool watercolor piece, but it's not my favorite. So for this week, I had already gone back and decided that this was going to be my favorite one that I wanted to do as a painting, just because this idea is really solid. It's very up my alley, I don't know. This is my tree. I'm a cat. I live in this tree. The whole Asian culture aesthetic thing, and then the scroll and the skulls and her giving you a death stare because how dare you. I don't know. I dig this, and I think this sketch is questionable, but like the concept is really solid, and I could definitely turn this into a really cool painting. And that's kind of what I'm going for these, is I'm trying to flesh out ideas. And then I'm gonna have there's a few pages in here that I blocked out for doing thumbnails, so I can further those ideas into actual illustrations. So this is just coming up with an idea, and some of them are like really rough, and then others are like, nope, that idea, I can see it as a painting. So anyway, so week 4 starts Monday the 26th. I got probably the campiest of all combinations of pirate and pumpkin, and I have mixed feelings about the whole pirate thing, and then putting pumpkin in there makes it really way too, this is a Halloween costume. So I was just kind of going for it at first, and then I'm like, wait, but what if? And then I made an entire story in my head. She has a background and all that shit. So the very short gist of it is she's this kind of quiet, somber, gypsy-looking witch lady who lives on a pirate ship. And you know, pirates are obnoxious, but no one disrespects her. No one ever does anything to her because she has the power over weather and water. And so living on a ship, she's extremely like invaluable. Like they cannot afford to lose her, and you don't ever disrespect her, because if she can control things like, I don't know, the waves, she could get all of you killed. She's, I don't know, mad respect. Also, for some reason, always, like, I know it's a blue blob, but my thought was, how do I connect pirate to the pumpkin? And I decided that she just always has a pumpkin with her, and it never rots, and it never gets old, and it never goes bad. She just always has a pumpkin. I haven't figured out why. It might be the source of her magic, or it might be like her familiar is a pumpkin, or something ridiculous like that. I don't know, but I liked her. And then the next day was super lame, because I had pretty much already had this prompt earlier. So I got plant and bird, and I had already had bird and herb. So like someone picking herbs out of their garden or something. So I really just did not come up with anything. I had this hat with a bird skull and some flowers on it. And I even tried to come back and add more, and I couldn't think of anything. This day was a wash. But you know what? That's fine. I have like 30 other great ideas, so whatever. And then this one, I might come back to and do more with this one anyway, even though it's not the one that I picked for the week. Because instead of, I have rolled puppet and will of the wisp, but instead of puppet, I did doll. Because I seem to recall that the original prompt list, she also did like a marionette kind of puppet as opposed to like a hand puppet. And I have BJDs, and BJDs kind of look like marionettes, but pretty. So, and it's what I know, and I can draw all the joints and all the bits and pieces by memory because I've had them long enough. So I just decided to go in and do a doll, and then I really love the outfit I gave her. I kind of drew what I wish I could have for my dolls if I wanted them to be a witch, and then realized you can't see any of the joints. You can't tell it's a doll. Yeah. But I would love to come back and revisit this idea of like a magical doll being a witch. I don't know. I think that's adorable. And then Thursday, I had a spirit and axe. I think this one, I had a hard time coming up with ideas for, so I actually did this on Friday when I was at a friend's birthday. It was pretty small, low-key, and mass and all that jazz. Don't worry about me. But I was having a hard time thinking how to put ghost, axe, witch in the same place. So then instead I drew a joke. So as you can probably tell, it's can of spray axe, like the stuff that men thought was deodorant that wasn't, and it's horrible, with ghosts coming out of it. I thought that was funny. I don't know why I think I'm funny, but I am. And I came back later that evening and I drew this thing, which I really love how this looks. I don't know how witchy she is, but she's cool. And I might keep her for something because she's cool. And then the last day that I was rolling for prompts, I got circus and gold. So I started with this one first because I didn't want to do the traditional circusy circus because it's not my jam. I honestly, anything circus, harlequin flavored, I kind of roll my eyes, and I'm personally not a big fan. But I liked the idea of having, like, they always have the Madam whatever the heck box. It's usually an animated thing that tells you your fortune. So I had like an actual fortune teller because I thought that was very close to being a witch. It pretty much is a witch, and I thought that was very flavorful. And again, how do you draw a color? You don't. So I was just gonna have a bunch of jewelry in here and like shiny gold and a gold tapestry and just have to work it in. The other alternative idea was if I went full circus and did some kind of trapeze artist, because I think gymnasts are amazing and it takes a lot of balance and a lot of skill and stuff, but I'm feeling kind of about how that ended up. So that is the end. Yeah, so that is the end of me rolling for prompts. And then for this week, I picked this guy, girl, pumpkin lady, as the one I wanted to turn into an illustration, just because she has more of the story, and that's going to be easier for me to like stage a scene and then put together. And so for all of the winners, we have the pumpkin one. And then I had already shown you the scroll and skull. And what did I do for the week before? And then I wanted to do this one. I don't really care for this specific face, so I'll probably do something trendier and cuter or whatever. But I really have an idea for how to paint this. So it's going to be space and jewelry, and all of like the earrings and the beads and everything are planets, and then do her hair in like a galaxy texture if I can figure out how to do that. Lord, I should have bookmarked these like a smart person. Okay, and then the one before that, it feels like it's so far away, but I definitely want to do this concept. I really love how this looks. I like the sketches. I like the concepts. I could throw a bunch in there. Steampunk is sweet. And then trying to make it a steampunk healer of some sort. I love this. I love this a lot. So I'm excited to do this one. It'll be funsies for me. I still kind of want to turn this into a sticker because this brings me great happiness. Just the... And then I think this is the last one from the very first week. I wanted to do sleepy and beverage. I've thrown some extra things in here if you saw the other video, because I think I'm going to fashion this after a friend of mine. But we'll see how it goes. But like this concept was too cute, of like the sleepy witch trying to stir her coffee and it's spilling everywhere. I really like the kind of flowy bohemian-esque outfit that goes with it, so this is pretty solid. So those are my Witchtober sketches. And then the last thing for the month is actually, if I can get to it, the very last one is the Witch Sona. So it's trying to figure out how to draw myself as a witch. And because all of my other witches are elves, I made myself an elf because that's how I live my life, you guys. So this is me trying to figure out like what the fuck does my face look like for real, because I'm trying to change up and be more detailed with my drawings in a way, even though my sketches don't reflect that. I'm trying to be more thoughtful about facial features actually looking like facial features, you know. And so I made a list of like prompts that I did that kind of feel like me, and then did some sketches, tried to get my face, figured out what my glasses look like, kind of actually tried to draw me in clothing and items that I actually own, and then was like, wait, witches have hats. How the hell do you draw a witch hat? And then what style do I like? I really like these floppy ones, but they're a challenge. Although I do like the wide brim because that's very trendy and very spoopy goth chick thing. So, and this is my favorite so far. I think this turned out really freaking awesome, and I love this. Not that okay, this one's kind of questionable. Not that any of these are necessarily bad, but this one I think captures the essence that I want the most. Also, the hat turned out right with the big bow and yeah. And then I have these ones. And I've got some tarot cards and some stuff. Probably gonna put a bat in there because I love bats. And that's all I have so far. So my plan for the rest of this sketchbook is to use these blank these blank spreads in through here to try and give one per winner of the week for my rolled prompts, in order to kind of flesh out some thumbnails, get a solid idea so I can hopefully fill up this whole spread with how I want it to look and thumbnail some crap, and then hopefully get out some like nice watercolor paper. I have the this guy, the Strathmore 100% cotton paper, the travel pad. I don't know why it's called a travel pad. It's not like, it's just a pad of watercolor paper. It's good watercolor paper, but like I feel like it's not a travel pad if it's not like, I don't know, glued on the edges. Anyway, but I thought I could use this paper to do some mini illustrations. I tend to cut it in half and use it that way. But then thumbnail, transfer it to that paper, and then do like an actual painting. If they turn out all right, I'm hoping to turn them into prints and be able to sell them. If they will translate well, I would love to do them as stickers, if my printer will be polite enough to do that. And then same ordeal here. I'm putting a lot more effort into designing this so I can get it how I want, but this is pretty good. But I'm going to pretty much fill the rest of these 2 or 3 pages with scratches of me, and then try to do a portrait of myself, which feels kind of weird and kind of self-centered, but the prompt list made me do it. So that is what I have for Witchtober 2020. I am mega uber impressed that I even got through it. It's a pretty major success for me that I've been needing because the rest of the crap in my life is going all wrong. But this went right, so I'm pretty excited about it. I almost want to start like a November or a December prompt list just because this was so fun, but I kind of need to give myself a break and focus on schoolwork. So I might start like a 30 prompt challenge partway through December and do it over break so that when I'm not doing anything, I can have like that 3-week break in the middle there, and between December and January have like the New Year prompt list or something. I'll look into it. I'll let you guys know what I think. I wanted to thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video and check up on the final progress of my process through Witchtober. It was really fun to do. I'm very proud of myself for actually being able to accomplish the entire thing, even if the video is super, super late, because I am recording this a month after the fact. But I'm really glad you guys came by to watch this. Like I've said earlier in the video, life kind of hit me pretty hard, so it's been hard to find time to record and edit videos. But I am still working on things in my sketchbooks. I'm working on some other long-term projects. I have a bunch of sketchbook related videos planned for next year that I have been working on now, even if I'm not having the time to edit them. I have been a lot more active on my Instagram. It's been a lot easier to just post a picture rather than an entire video. So if you guys want to see what I've been kind of actively working on, there should be a link in the description that has what I'm going to call the master link. That takes you to a landing page with all my social media, including the Ko-fi page where you can support me and make it so I can keep buying things to test out and try out for you guys. And the Discord that I made, which is really just like a creative club where you can learn from other people, you can show off what you're working on, because I'm really interested in seeing what you guys have been doing. So I am still going to be doing the full illustrations of all of the Witchtober sketches. There will be a thumbnail and then a painting process for each one of them. I'm hoping to start those videos soon, probably over Thanksgiving break. If not, then I will definitely get them started over winter break. But if you want to be here and be able to see those and see where these sketches take me and kind of see more of the process of how the heck does anything get made, I would recommend hitting subscribe and checking the bell to get notifications, because I'm kind of just off my schedule right now. So again, thank you guys for coming by and checking in with me, and thank you guys so much for being patient, and I cannot wait to see you in the next video.